Thank you to subscribe to RONYTV. Local news never seen on television. Denis Villeneuve's sequel, with an A-list cast led by Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, opened to an estimated $81.5 million in North America, double the first film and the biggest opening of the year to date. Dune 2 is whipping up a sandstorm overseas, where it is debuting in 71 markets. It doesn't land in China until next weekend, and Japan the week after that. Warner Bros. Tried to manage expectations and suggested Dune 2 would debut more in the $72 million to $75 million range. The science fiction genre can be a tough sell, and Villeneuve's films runs 2 hours and 46 minutes. Also, many wanted to see Dune in IMAX and other premium formats. Dune 2's secret sauce. A glowing A cinema score, compared to an A for the first, stellar reviews and, again, glowing audience exit scores. Tracking said Dune 2 would launch domestically to $74 million. Warner Bros., however, remained more conservative in sticking with $65 million domestically and $75 million overseas. After enduring one of the worst early winters in years, outside of the pandemic, theaters are banking on the movie to usher in a steady stream of event fare that was delayed by last year's labor strikes. Theaters were unhappy when Legendary decided to delay the movie's release from last fall to now so that Chalamet and Zendaya would be available to publicize the film and help broaden the audience. Both have sway with younger viewers. The high-profile cast also includes series newcomers Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, and Christopher Walken, joining Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, and Charlotte Rampling. The long game will be the true test for Villeneuve's sequel in terms of solidifying a new franchise for Legendary. Villeneuve is keen on making one more film, Dune, Messiah, while Warner's has a spin-off series, Dune, Prophecy, due out on Max later this year. Dune grossed more than $402 million at the worldwide box office in 2021, a solid and promising number considering the pressures of the pandemic and the film's day and date streaming release, but the filmmakers have far bigger expectations for the follow-up. Dune 2's preview number of $12 million was also more than double the $5.1 million grossed in previews by Dune in 2021, although that movie was hobbled both by the pandemic and the decision to debut it simultaneously on HBO Max, now known as simply Max. Overall, was the strongest preview showing since Barbie racked up $22.3 million in July 2023. That same weekend, Oppenheimer started off with $10.5 million in previews on its way to a domestic debut of $82.5 million, Barbie rocketed to $162 million. The preview gross includes $1 million tacked on from an earlier IMAX fan event. To continue, Tyler Perry had been planning an $800 million expansion of his studio in Atlanta, which would have added 12 soundstages to the 330-acre property. Now, however, those ambitions are on hold, thanks to the rapid developments he's seeing in the realm of artificial intelligence, including OpenAI's text-to-video model Sora, which debuted February 15th and stunned observers with its cinematic video outputs. Being told that it can do all of these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it was mind-blowing, he mentioned in an interview, noting that his productions might not have to travel to locations or build sets with the assistance of the technology. As a business owner, Perry sees the opportunity in these developments, but as an employer, fellow actor and filmmaker, he also wants to raise the alarm. In an interview between shoots Thursday, Perry explained his concerns about the technology's impact on labor and why he wants the industry to come together to tackle AI. There's got to be some sort of regulations in order to protect us. If not, I just don't see how we survive. I have been watching AI very closely and watching the advancements very closely. I was in the middle of, and have been planning for the last 4 years, about an $800 million expansion at the studio, which would have increased the backlot a tremendous size. We were adding 12 more soundstages. All of that is currently and indefinitely on hold because of Sora and what I'm seeing. I had gotten word over the last year or so that this was coming, but I had no idea until I saw recently the demonstrations of what it's able to do. It's shocking to me. I no longer would have to travel to locations. If I wanted to be in the snow in Colorado, it's text. If I wanted to write a scene on the moon, it's text, and this AI can generate it like nothing. If I wanted to have 2 people in the living room in the mountains, I don't have to build a set in the mountains, I don't have to put a set on my lot. I can sit in an office and do this with a computer, which is shocking to me. It makes me worry so much about all of the people in the business. Because as I was looking at it, I immediately started thinking of everyone in the industry, who would be affected by this, including actors and grip and electric and transportation and sound and editors, and looking at this, I'm thinking this will touch every corner of our industry. I just used AI in 2 films that are going to be announced soon. That kept me out of makeup for hours. In post and on set, I was able to use this AI technology to avoid ever having to sit through hours of aging makeup. Everything right now is so up in the air. It's so malleable. The technology is moving so quickly. I feel like everybody in the industry is running 100 miles an hour to try and catch up, to try and put in guardrails and to try and put in safety belts to keep livelihoods afloat. But me, just like every other studio in town, we're all trying to figure it all out. I think we're all trying to find the answers as we go, and it's changing every day, and it's not just our industry, but it's every industry that AI will be affecting, from accountants to architects. If you look at it across the world, how it's changing so quickly, I'm hoping that there's a whole government approach to help everyone be able to sustain. That's the conclusion. Subscribe to RONYTV. Local news never seen on television.